I've always been intrigued by the idea of playing WoW with a controller. Not because it would give you more DPS or faster reaction times, of course not, but because it'd be a different way to play. Sitting comfortably on your couch or bed without the need to be close to your screen or using a mouse and keyboard. Add on top of that a more action-focused camera angle, and you have quite a different experience. Because let's not forget, control scheme and camera position are a big part of how we play games. As an extreme example, take StarCraft 2, a top-down RTS. If you were to have control over just one single unit and zoom all the way into the third person, it would look and feel quite differently. It would be a different experience. The same can be said for WoW. Typically played really far back, tab targeting with a mouse and keyboard. If you were to zoom all the way into the third person with an over-the-shoulder perspective using a directional-based action targeting system, it's the same game experienced quite differently. And then there's also the fact that if WoW works on a controller, that also means it could work on consoles, opening up this game that I've played and loved for over 10 years to potentially an entirely new audience. That's exciting. I first got to thinking about this a couple of months ago after watching a video from Bellular Gaming, where he shows off playing WoW with a controller. It was an interesting idea and one that got me thinking, but not much else. I never went beyond the what if. However, now with the upcoming launch of Legion, I'm really looking forward to diving back into WoW, and in doing so, I once again got to thinking about what the game would be like on a controller, or on the consoles. So I decided to put this concept to the test and emulate as much as I could a console experience. To do this, I used the hidden action cam option which is in the game, giving you the positioning and feel of an action RPG, coupled with the new soft lock-esque targeting system, and then WoW Mapper and console port to emulate a mouse and keyboard on a gamepad, and then finally Bartender and Move Anything to create a console-like UI. After several hours of tuning, this is what I came up with. A UI which I think looks like something that would show up on the console, and full control of the game with a new interesting perspective on a gamepad. And the results, if I do say so myself, were pretty impressive. Now, I began by leveling a brand new character, going through the starter zones, questing and killing enemies with what few basic skills I had. With tab targeting bound to right trigger, I found it actually quite easy to always be attacking the enemies I wanted to. I would tag one guy, tab to another, charge and attack him, and then turn around and finish off the first one. It was smooth. Interaction with the loot, the environment, and NPCs was also a lot easier than I expected. Double-clicking the right thumbstick would click on and interact whatever was right in front of my character. And then with the console port add-on, this also made menu interaction a breeze. With the basic console snap interface, I can move from one interactable item to another, be it menus, character panel, my bags, whatever. I never needed to swap to a mouse. In fact, text chat was even doable thanks to a nice radial menu letting me type out whatever I wanted to say. So after leveling up a little bit and getting more comfortable with playing with a controller, I decided to try my hand at some dungeons. So I switched specs and jumped into queue to give tanking a try, and it worked. I could do it. Playing with an entire group that no doubt were all using mouse and keyboard, I was able to keep up, tag all the mobs, and hold aggro for the entire run. Now of course though, this is only on a low-level dungeon with a low-level character that only has a few skills. How would this setup hold up at a max-level character using all available skills? So I switched to my main, a level 100 Fury Warrior. I set up my hotbar and gave it a go. With every available active skill on my bars, I ventured out into the world to see what I could do. If I could do anything, guess what? I could. Using modifying triggers, I was able to get 3 times the use out of all the face buttons on the controller, allowing for over 30 active skills to be bound. And once I got familiar with the location of all my skills and began to build up some muscle memory, I could intuitively execute my basic rotations in combat, throwing in some interrupts, charges, buffs, and whirlwind effects whenever need be. It worked. It was doable. On top of that, I was having a good time. Laid back in my recliner, with a larger than average UI and a zoomed in perspective, it made for a much more casual yet still enjoyable playing experience. And once again, it absolutely worked. Now of course, this is far from the best and most effective way to play WoW on the PC, but it does give us another means of experiencing the game. game if we don't feel like sitting in front of the computer. Could you compete in high-level PvP or do mythic raiding? Very unlikely. But there's still a ton of things that you could absolutely do. And then once more, this lends credit to the idea that WoW could come to the console and it would be playable. Now, of course, they would have to have their own servers, and chances are endgame would need to be tuned to keep controller healing and tanking in mind, but I don't see why not. Blizzard already has multiple difficulty options when it comes to endgame content. The truth is, the real reason why WoW may never come to console go beyond controller play. They're financial, namely, would there be a big enough interest and a new demographic on the console player base? They're structural, with a 15-year-old engine that wasn't built to be played on consoles. And then there's the time commitment. Do they want to spend valuable developer time bringing WoW to new platforms? And I'm sure there are many more reasons beyond those listed. One thing is for certain though that I learned through this little experiment. The ability to play with a controller and a console-like UI is not what's stopping them from porting the game. It has to be more, much more. Because it's possible, you can do it right now, and surprisingly enough, it was way more fun than I expected. And it was a cool new way to experience the game. Now I just want to wrap this up by saying, to those of you who are currently playing or have been fans of WoW in the past, this video isn't me looking to change the game at all. I just find this concept interesting, and the idea that this game could ever be playable on the console is one that I've thought about for quite some time. And I figure now that I'm really ready to dive back in and I'm gonna be playing serious again, I'll probably jump back into mythic raiding, this would be a great time to try it out. And with all of these add-ons and with the action camera mode, it worked a lot better than I thought it would. So I figured I'd share that experience with you. All right, guys, that is gonna do it for me here today as we talk about playing WoW with a controller, the idea of WoW on consoles, and the experience that I've had today trying this out. Hope you guys all enjoyed the video. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and until next time, I'll see you later.